Good evening. My name is Jane Ipson, and I'm here tonight to represent the Waterfront and Tourism Committee of Destination Des Moines. This committee had a goal, and one of those goals was to work closely with the University of Washington and their storefront studio project. It was something that we felt was very important to making the city come alive, and we are thrilled. We believe that the students exceeded our expectations, and this committee was delighted to see the city life that they created and represented in their ideas and their thoughts, and the enthusiasm that they generated from the folks attending those open houses. For those of us that attended and was going, ooh, and on, wow, and look at that, and ooh, could we do this? It was exciting. I mean, I haven't seen that in a long time, and it was absolutely wonderful. The students really gave us a glimpse of Des Moines and what it would be to be interesting, interactive, and really a place that we could feel at home. And I think, as I said, that what they offered gave us a sense of belonging and a sense of place, and it's our place. It's Des Moines. It really and truly is.
I'm Leslie Newman, and I live at 21001 3rd Avenue South in Des Moines, and I'm a member of the Waterfront and Tourism Committee as well as past president of Destination Des Moines. And I would just, again, like to applaud the University of Washington and all the students. You guys did a fabulous job, so thank you very much. And to City Council for allowing them to be here. It was so much fun to be there at the storefront studio and just to hear the enthusiasm and the energy of the people of what we can be and what we can look like.
I know that I have made it a point to talk to people about the project, and had they seen the designs, everyone that I've spoken to feels it's very positive, and that they are excited that some of these ideas might be incorporated to help our city move forward.
The primary goal of the studio was to integrate and connect our historic downtown to our waterfront areas, and those are so important to this community, and to promote economic development and enhance the pedestrian experience. We have lots of people living in our downtown, in and around our downtown, and walkable communities are very important in today's society. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our guests and the creators of the Storefront Studio Enhancement Plan, Professor Jim Nichols, and he has two of his students with him tonight, architecture students Natasha Servo and Jack DeBlau.
We had 11 students in the studio from the University of Washington. Two of them are here tonight, and Natasha is actually a resident of the community, so direct all questions to Natasha. So you've seen this maybe list circulating, and certainly as a starting point, we didn't do a master plan for you. We did an enhancement plan, and the very interesting comment from one of the community about this seemed to be a more hands-on approach and more kind of grounded in the community, and that was really what our striving was for, was to find things that were already here, not import them, and to just try and enhance what was already here. And so it certainly was the existing waterfront location. What an opportunity of a community owning that much waterfront. So we just did a little exercise, which was to show in red here all the surface area that you've given over to parking. And then in a later version, in the slightly lighter, we also included boat parking.
So our historical, our history research, we kind of identified some important things that are still existing in Des Moines, and some things that are no longer existing but kind of have an important impact. And Des Moines it has a long and interesting history.
And so here's a kind of overview of the enhancement plan. And so it begins with Marine View Drive, the dotted line at the top there, as your traditional main street, and even though it's got traffic on it, it remains the heart and identity of Des Moines, and it begins with that theater district block. So if we began along Marine View Drive, we begin with the QFC block, and I think this is a place where development could occur. This could be a site for more extensive development, But we really wanted to just try and tweak what was there as opposed to bring in a larger project. But this certainly is a site which could support a larger project. The theater block, you can see the historical photograph up top. We restored that kind of two-tone color. The existing elevation is in the middle, the bottom elevation is below. So it's really a restoration of the theater, infilling that sort of missing gap piece with a like-scaled building, and actually creating a stair down in that gap to more parking below.
In this image, we're looking at an example of a very inexpensive way for small business owners to enhance their storefronts. This particular building is on Marine View Drive, and with just a matter of some fresh paint and more visible signage, the building seems to provide more of an inviting experience for customers and potential customers for the business. And in this image, we are looking at examples of a proposed bus shelter. Currently in our research and walking around and studying the bus stops, most of them do not have a shelter at all.
This is a proposal for an alternate use for the Des Moines Elementary School, which was built in 1925. Should it stop functioning as a school, and what else could be done with the structure for the city? And the idea is for a art cooperative and community center.
We sort of threw this out at an open house just to see what the reaction would be, and we were actually thinking that people would really want that to remain an elementary school and, don't change that. But there was actually a lot of community support for this idea. So this is actually what we're thinking of here. We're not thinking of big development. It's a 3-story building within the existing height limits. Ground floor is commercial, couple levels of residential. The upper levels are set back from the ground floor so that the perception of that street wall is reduced. You get some of that lost square footage back with the bays, but you also then articulate the individual units. Below that is underground parking.
This image here is more of an experiential view of 227th, and one of the things that you can see here is a drastic improvement from just adding trees down to 27th and adding buildings that are scaled down, like Jim was saying, 2 or 3 stories at the most. And it would provide a very welcoming experience to have little shops and storefronts on the right, and then the trees on the left, and then possibly benches between the trees to sit down and enjoy ice cream on good weather days.
And so this is an illustration of a type of building that could occur rather than this is what we want you to build. And so this is where the farmers market is, and you'll see later where we've looked at other possible locations down at the marina. But what the opportunity here is, and you can see that little section which is on the right, is because of the grade change there, the old bluff, you can actually sort of insert a building there and have the roof of the building be an extension of the sidewalk and park and not obstruct any of the view from the existing residential beyond. And so what we were proposing was kind of a interpretive center where you might tell the story, where kids would come and you'd tell the story of Des Moines.